Hey, Maria, back with another video. I'm in the process of doing laundry, and when I am done, I will share with you my sewing projects. But I wanted to respond to this particular comment, which I thought was interesting. This is regarding my last post, my last video, No Religion. Sebastian Gonzalez says, I like religion. I really do. I think that it provides structure to people on how to deal with basic human emotions such as greed, envy, jealousy, etc. I just don't like how they hypnotize you to take the money at their churches or whatever. Okay, and I think, I'm not saying, in my video I wasn't saying that religion should be done away with or anything like that, and I want to make sure that that's not what people are perceiving or misinterpreting. That's not what I'm saying. Religion's always going to exist, okay? And there's always going to be certain people who benefit from it, and I'm sure there's plenty, okay? So that's not my issue, okay? It's just it's a personal preference of mine not to have anything to do with it. I don't have to justify it to anybody, okay? And this person's comment says, I think that it provides structure to people on how to deal with basic human emotions such as greed, envy, jealousy, etc. That should be the idea, okay, behind it, okay? It should set a good moral standard and allow people to be placed in a direction where their life goals and their value system is like better, superior than, just somebody who lives in ignorance, okay? Like, when certain issues come up, like on how to deal with a neighbor, like you mentioned envy and jealousy in this particular sentence. Okay, like for example, the neighbor just wins the lottery, okay, and they have a new vehicle, they're moving into a new house or whatever. Is that person going to instinctively be happy for that person, or are they going to go through these emotions? And once they go through these emotions, what calms them down, what brings them back down to earth is hopefully they can take the time and look into their religious teaching, and they will say, hey, you know what, this is wrong, okay, I'm in the wrong, and they shall cease hostilities, okay? Oftentimes, they get their first instinct is to respond in a way to sabotage that person. They'll do it through gossip, and it's almost instant, okay? Anybody who's a targeted individual knows what that feels like, okay? When they become envious or jealous or whatever, their first instinct is to tear it down, okay? And that is a human emotion, okay? It exists, okay? But you're right, a religion is for that. It's to instill certain values in these people, okay? So, and I learned a lot when I was younger, from my religious studies, and of course I've learned a lot from, like, the Bible. That, like I said, I cut my teeth on the Bible. That was my first religious teaching. And you're right. But see, in this case, when it comes to people like who are being gang stalked or whatever, their religious teaching, in this case, there was many behind it, just went to the wayside, okay? So I was basically tormented for a very long period of time in a tug-of-war that was pointless in the first place. So my point is, hopefully now, at this point, where they see where the situation is, maybe they will. Okay, maybe they will start thinking, you know what, I need to get back and focus myself on what my true calling is, my relationship, my identification with this particular religious group. People need that. I've had enough religious training in my life. I've had enough, okay? Now, and I've learned from it, and I've tried very hard to implement it. Like I said, don't waste knowledge, okay? All the things I've learned, it's not to say that I haven't made mistakes. I have, okay? But the mistakes I made, I've tried to keep myself back up and not do it. And I feel as though I've made improvements in my life, okay? So, do I need religion? I don't think so. I don't need it. But some people do, and that's the way it's always going to be. So it should be allowed to exist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's what you're putting. I'm not accusing you of putting words in my mouth. I'm just, wanting to make sure that I don't offend anybody. And because that's not my goal too, it's more for just clarification purposes. We are always going to have religion, okay? We're always going to have people with certain political views based on how they were raised, how they lived, their traditions, their religious, their racial background, things like that determines what a person's going to affiliate with oftentimes, okay? Since there's more than one group of people on the earth, it's always going to be that way. So I'm not opposing anything when I say no religion. I'm saying I choose to have no religion. Aha, there we go. Okay, now it says, I think there are some doctrines on earth that are really beneficial in the fact that acting upon some of the work will result in manifestations of abundance. Okay, well, I do know the Bible says that it's more likely for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And the reason why is because oftentimes when people have so much wealth, okay, and they continue to seek earthly goods, they tend to be animalistic and downright, evil, okay? And so it is. There's a certain humility that is represented in the Bible. Like, for example, Jesus, okay? Jesus had humility. He also had a form of secular employment. Jesus was a carpenter, and he was not materialistic, okay? And he suffered, okay? Life was not easy for people like that. They don't have easy lives, okay? And my problem with a lot of religions is that they preach that, okay, you affiliate yourself with this church, and their moral standards are not corrected, okay? They're still committing fornication on a regular basis. They're still doing, I see girlfriends living with their boyfriends and so on and so forth, and I'm not judging them. Please don't think I am, but it's a contradiction. Okay, they're contradicting themselves. Okay, it doesn't make sense. If you're going to claim to be a religion, then you need to follow it, and you need to follow it and have an understanding of it, why the doctrines and why they're there, and they should be applied. If not, don't call yourself that, because I don't get it. That's how I look at some people, okay? So, and I believe that because in my life, I want to do things and understand why I do them, okay? And so for me, that's not right. I don't want that in my life, okay? I want everything in my life to have meaning. And that's the way it is, period, okay? But I would say that the doctrines that give you the best outlook on life, to me, is wealth. Now, like I said, wealth does not necessarily mean something monetary, like actual cash or money, or extreme, just rich, wealthy type goods, okay, like gold or, wealthy items that represent status and whatnot, okay? So, some people, like Jesus, didn't have much. Okay, he had a modest income. He had a very modest lifestyle. Okay, but when we're talking about manifestation of abundance, I think, how about living a life with peace? That you're not causing conflict. For some people, that's priceless. To have peace is priceless. I don't think anybody wants to sit here and be well, they do. That's what I see outside the world. There's too much cutthroat. Some people just want peace, and that's the best thing you can have. If you follow, that's the best kind of wealth that you can expect from following a religion, okay? Because that's pretty much what it should be about, okay? Now, some people, just because, that's not to say that rich people can't be followers of God. I'm just saying is they have a harder struggle, okay? The Bible is basically saying that they have a harder struggle to be accepted because of what their natural animal instincts is going to make them fall into, which is greed, okay? And they struggle with it, okay? There's nothing wrong with having a nice car. There's nothing wrong with having a beautiful home. Because don't get me wrong, I should be in a situation where I have that, okay? But people just keep messing with my life, unfortunately. But my point is that, and there's nothing wrong with those things, but oftentimes we put so much emphasis on it that we become cutthroat about it. Like you're mentioning envy and jealousy. That's the reason why I'm in this situation, because of envy and jealousy. Okay? They became cutthroat. They forgot their morals. They forgot what they were supposed to have learned. Okay? And they had no right to, manipulate my stuff in the first place. Why? What motivated them to do that? Jealousy, envy? Yes, you bet. So, this is not easy. I'm going to repeat what else you said. This is not easily visible to the ordinary person without some type of guide or doctrine or religion. Absolutely right, because you know what? We are born on this earth as animals, okay? And like I said in several of my other videos, murder, stealing, things like that is something that people instinctively do, okay? I've seen little kids. You've seen them walking in an aisle and let's start grabbing stuff, okay? You know, and sometimes I've even had this when I was little, when my son was little, okay? I remember he started grabbing stuff and he walked out with this toy, and I had no idea that he had this toy. It was like a Fisher Price toy, and it was like it looked like a little television set. It was really cute. Really cute, right? And we were walking around, and I left the store, and, you know, as he was in my hand, we were holding hands, but as we were walking down the aisle, he must have been doing some shopping, okay? So, like, you know, as a little kid, he wants something, he grabs for it, okay? And then when we got outside, I'm like, oh, my God, I got to go pay for that. But anyway, my point is that, you know, a lot of people have internal struggles with it, okay? And then sometimes people are either taught, like they are taught by their parents, and some are taught by their parents when they were very young, okay, that you don't do that. And some people, from a religious standpoint, they might say, honey, don't steal, because if you do that, you know, you're going to have to deal with the almighty being, and you may have to deal with issues relating to your afterlife if that becomes a problem. That's a religious way of disciplining somebody. And then you have people who discipline their children from a secular point of view, because they will say, you know what, if you do that, you are going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. There's a consequence. So I don't necessarily believe that religion is necessary to provide discipline or give you a guideline, because you could look at it either way. Okay, but some people want, I guess maybe if you look at it from a religious standpoint, you might be opening your heart more towards your fellow man that way, you know, because you're actually trying to show consideration for your fellow man. But on our natural instinct, it's obviously not natural to care about your fellow man because of the cutthroat things, the cutthroat tactics and things that people resort to. It's a very difficult thing. But either way, I believe that religion can, and sometimes it does. And if you want to use religion to shape and mold the moral structure of your child or whatever, or you want to learn through religious means to be a good person, because I think I have, really, to be honest with you, I have. My early beginnings reading the Bible and stuff like that has shaped who I am. It has, okay? You can use that as a guideline, you know, but some people might use a belt. A belt, you know, as a guideline. I'm not saying that you should spank your kids, but some people use it as a form of discipline too. And some people, and that would be more what I would call secular, okay? Unless, of course, you give the child an explanation as to why, you know, and how that relates to how that displeases God or whatever. But yeah, going back to my my original thing, and I like your post, and you do bring up good points. And I'm just letting you know how I feel about it. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you're gonna be a part of religion, like I always say, you know, then show it, live it, be it, okay? Because that's what you're identifying yourself with. And if you're going to church just because you want to, you know, go to, I don't know, what's that one place? I don't know, like an all-you-can-eat buffet and socialize with people for that very reason, well, you know, there's nothing really necessarily wrong with having fellowship, but you should have an understanding of what you're supposed to believe. I mean, that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? I would think that you need to understand where your particular doctrine originated from, or your denomination. You should know where that originated from. You should know, like, the tenets of your religion, and you should know, like, certain spiritual questions that relate to your faith, because it's all very specific. And live according to the morals. Like, you know, if you want to know how to treat people, then you should have an answer, or you should understand that based on what your religious view says. Okay, the underlying, or not the underlying, but the reason why. Okay, based on your religious view. So anyway, those are my opinions on it. Thank you so very much for giving me the opportunity to respond to your message, and I appreciate that. I will go ahead and show you my shirt that I'm working on. It's been on the body double for quite a while. This is a shirt that I got at a thrift store, and yes, it's very old. It's like I would say a 70s type shirt. The reason why I know it's a 70s shirt is like look at the collar. It goes all the way to the tip of the shoulder. So I like old 70s clothes, and I love the color. And I thought these buttons were really pretty. They're green. Okay, it has a hole here on one of the sleeves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the sleeves. Now, mind you, I'm not going to wear this piece to work. Okay, so some of my funky stuff or things that I like, I would probably put this with a pair of jeans, and I'll probably walk out the door with it on a weekend or something. It's just something that I think is really cute, and I like the way it looks. And it's unique. I mean, nobody else has it, right? So why shouldn't I enjoy it? And there's certain clothing companies that make retro style clothing, and so yeah, people have a choice, of what they like. I mean, obviously. So I dig this kind of stuff. I think it's pretty cool. So right now my fabric is in the dryer that I bought for my body pillow that I got. This is my body pillow. Okay, it's pretty long. You've seen these, right? Well, I think they're cool, but it needs a cover, so I'll be making a cover for it. I will show you the fabric, or I might just show you the finished product after it's done on the pillow. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Take care, and thank you so much again for your comment. Have a good night.